In this world, people often judge others by their wealth, their appearance, and their social status. But history has repeatedly shown us that greatness does not come from riches. It comes from the heart, the mind, and the soul of a determined individual. A poor person is not weak, and they are not to be underestimated. Within them lies the power of resilience, the fire of ambition, and the strength of struggle. Some of the greatest leaders, inventors, and visionaries the world has ever known rose from nothing. And that is why we must never ever underestimate a poor person. A poor person's life is a battlefield where every day is a fight for survival. Unlike those born into privilege, they do not have the luxury of comfort or security. They wake up each morning facing uncertainty of food, shelter, or even the next opportunity. Yet within this struggle lies a unique strength that the wealthy often lack, the power to endure. Struggle is the greatest teacher. It does not provide easy lessons, but it molds a person into someone who can face any challenge without fear. A poor person learns resilience not from books or lectures, but from life itself. They understand what it means to go to bed hungry, to see doors close in their face, and to be judged based on their status rather than their potential. However, instead of breaking them, these experiences sharpen their willpower. They become stronger, more determined, and more resistant to failure. In the fire of hardship, weakness burns away, leaving only raw determination. Every failure, every rejection, every difficult moment becomes a stepping stone towards success. While many privileged individuals crumble at the first sign of struggle, those who have endured poverty develop an unshakable spirit. They are used to adversity and they do not fear it. Instead, they embrace the challenge, knowing that the only way forward is to fight through it. Many of history's greatest leaders, thinkers, and innovators were shaped by struggle. Abraham Lincoln was born into extreme poverty, yet he rose to become one of the greatest US presidents. Oprah Winfrey grew up in hardship but became a global. The struggle did not defeat them, it made them invincible. Those who have suffered understand the true value of success, and once they reach it, they cherish it more than anyone who was born into privilege ever could. When a person has nothing, they learn to create something out of nothing. They become problem solvers, critical thinkers, and survivors. This ability to endure and push forward even when the odds are against them is what makes a poor person truly powerful. Their strength does not come from wealth or status. It comes from the fire of their struggle. Society often makes the mistake of equating intelligence with wealth, assuming that those who have money must be smarter than those who do not. But intelligence is not something that can be bought. It is not measured by the size of a bank account or the privilege of an elite education. Intelligence is the ability to think, to adapt, to solve problems, and to understand the world in ways that others cannot. A poor person, despite their lack of resources, can possess a level of wisdom, creativity, and strategic thinking that even the wealthiest individuals may never develop. In many cases, poverty forces a person to think critically and creatively. When resources are scarce, they must figure out how to survive, how to make ends meet, and how to navigate challenges that those with wealth never have to face. A rich man can solve a problem by throwing money at it, but a poor man must use his mind. This constant problem-solving sharpens their intelligence, teaching them skills that cannot be learned in a classroom. They become experts at innovation, turning scraps into tools, opportunities into successes, and obstacles into stepping stones. History is filled with examples of individuals who had little to nothing but possessed extraordinary intelligence. Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors of all time, struggled financially throughout his life. Yet his ideas revolutionized electricity and modern technology. Abraham Lincoln, born into poverty, educated himself by reading borrowed books, and went on to become one of the most respected leaders in history. Albert Einstein was not born into wealth, yet his genius changed the way we understand the universe. These men did not need riches to prove their intelligence. Their ideas, persistence, and ability to think beyond limitations defined their greatness. Many poor individuals develop a deeper understanding of life because they experience it firsthand. They are not shielded by luxury or blinded by comfort. They see the raw realities of human existence, and this exposure gives them wisdom that no expensive education can provide. Their intelligence is not theoretical, it is practical, based on real-life experiences, struggles, and the ability to read people and situations with accuracy. In contrast, wealth can sometimes create a false sense of superiority. Some wealthy individuals rely entirely on their money to maintain their status and never have to exercise critical thinking or problem-solving skills. They inherit businesses rather than build them, live in comfort rather than struggle for survival, and often mistake their privilege for intelligence. But when placed in a situation where money is no longer the solution, many of them falter, while those who have lived with hardship find ways to thrive. True intelligence is about understanding life, making the best of what is available, and continuously seeking knowledge. It is found in the street vendor who figures out how to attract customers, in the farmer who knows how to read the land, in the struggling student who studies under a street lamp because they cannot afford electricity. Intelligence is not about where you come from, it is about how you use your mind to change your circumstances. Hunger is a powerful force. It is not just the physical hunger for food, but also the deep, unshakable hunger for success, for a better life, for dignity, and for freedom from struggle. When a person has nothing, they have everything to fight for. They do not have the comfort of wealth to fall back on, no safety net to protect them, and no privilege to open doors for them. All they have is their determination, and that determination becomes their greatest weapon. A person who has never faced hunger, who has always had everything handed to them, will never understand the desperation that fuels ambition. But for someone who has gone to bed with an empty stomach, who has seen their family struggle, who has been rejected and looked down upon, failure is not an option. They are willing to work harder, sacrifice more, and push themselves beyond their limits because they know that success is their only escape from the cycle of poverty. The hunger for success drives people to wake up before dawn and work until exhaustion. It keeps them going when others quit. It makes them take risks that privileged individuals would never dare to take. Many of the world's most successful people did not start with money, but they started with hunger. The hunger to prove themselves, to rise above their circumstances, and to never experience the pain of poverty again. Consider the stories of those who built their success from nothing. Oprah Winfrey was born into extreme poverty. Yet, she used her hunger for a better life to become one of the most influential media personalities in history. Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, grew up in a poor neighborhood, but he refused to accept his fate and instead worked tirelessly to build an empire. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, failed repeatedly in his early years, rejected from jobs, struggling to make ends meet. But his hunger for success kept him moving forward until he became one of the richest men in the world. When a person has nothing, they have no fear of losing. This fearlessness makes them unstoppable. While others hesitate, they take action. While others fear failure, they embrace it as a lesson. Their hunger turns into discipline, their discipline turns into effort, and their effort turns into success. They are willing to do what others refuse to do, work late, learn new skills, endure criticism, and push through pain because they know that the only way out of their struggle is through relentless perseverance. Hunger sharpens the mind and hardens the spirit. It makes a person resourceful, teaching them to find solutions where others see dead ends. It turns obstacles into challenges and challenges into stepping stones. A hungry person does not wait for opportunities, they create them. They do not dream of success, they chase it with every ounce of energy in their body. The most dangerous person in the world is not the one born into privilege, but the one who has suffered and refuses to suffer anymore. The one who has felt the sting of hunger, the pain of rejection, and the weight of struggle, because once they decide to change their destiny, nothing can stand in their way. Life is unpredictable, challenges come without warning, and those who lack the ability to adapt often fall behind. A poor person, however, learns from an early age that survival depends on flexibility, quick thinking, and the ability to adjust to any situation. While those born into wealth often rely on their money to solve problems, a person from humble beginnings must use their intelligence, instincts, and creativity to navigate life's difficulties. This ability to adapt and overcome is one of the most valuable skills a person can possess, and it is something that poverty teaches better than anything else. A poor person does not have the luxury of quitting when things get hard. They cannot afford to stop trying because failure is not just a setback, it could mean going hungry, losing shelter, or missing opportunities that may never come again. Because of this, they develop a mindset that looks for solutions instead of excuses. When one door closes, they find another way in. If they lack resources, they make do with what they have. They do not sit back and complain about what they do not have. Instead, they use their adaptability to make the most of their situation. Throughout history, many of the greatest minds and innovators have been those who learned to adapt. They did not have easy lives, but they found ways to overcome their struggles. Take, for example, Steve Jobs, who was born into a working-class family and later dropped out of college because his parents couldn't afford it. Instead of seeing this as the end, he used it as an opportunity to explore his interests, experiment, and eventually revolutionize the tech industry. His ability to adapt to difficulties and turn them into learning experiences made him one of the most influential figures in modern history. Another example is Andrew Carnegie, who was born into poverty and started working as a child to support his family. Instead of accepting his circumstances, he adapted by constantly learning, improving himself, and finding ways to rise above his conditions. He eventually became one of the richest men in the world, proving that adaptability is often more powerful than privilege. Poor individuals often develop remarkable problem-solving skills because they face real-world challenges daily. If there is no money for school, they find free ways to educate themselves. If jobs are scarce, they learn new skills to create opportunities. If society refuses to give them a chance, they build their own paths. They are forced to think outside the box, innovate, and find unconventional ways to succeed. This ability to pivot and adjust makes them far more resilient than those who have only known comfort. In contrast, those who grow up in privilege often struggle when life takes an unexpected turn. They are used to stability, to things working in their favor, and to having access to resources. When they face adversity, many do not know how to respond because they have never had to struggle before. A wealthy person who suddenly loses everything may feel lost. But a poor person who has fought through hardships their entire life will know how to start again. Adapting does not mean accepting defeat. It means finding a new way to win. It means refusing to let obstacles stop progress and using challenges as opportunities for growth. A poor person understands that the world does not owe them anything, so they learn to adjust, to survive, and eventually to thrive. Their ability to overcome is not a gift given by birth, it is a skill developed through necessity. There is a certain depth of understanding that comes only from experiencing hardship firsthand. A person who has lived through struggle, who has felt the sting of hunger, rejection, and loss, develops a heart that truly understands the pain of others. Unlike those who have never known suffering, a poor person does not need to imagine what it feels like to go without. They have lived it. This deep understanding shapes their character, making them more compassionate, empathetic, and willing to help those in need. Poverty teaches a person what it means to be ignored by society, to be looked down upon, to be judged unfairly simply because of their circumstances. It shows them how cruel the world can be to those who have nothing. But instead of making them bitter, this experience often fills them with kindness and a desire to ease the burdens of others. Because they know what it is like to struggle, they do not turn a blind eye when they see someone else in pain. They recognize the silent cries for help, the unspoken desperation in the eyes of others because they have seen the same reflection in their own. Many of the world's greatest humanitarians and leaders who fought for justice came from humble beginnings. They were born into comfort or privilege. They were born into struggle. Yet, instead of letting their hardships make them selfish, they used their experiences to uplift others. Nelson Mandela, who endured decades of imprisonment and injustice, emerged with a heart full of forgiveness and a mission to unite a divided nation. Mother Teresa, though not wealthy, dedicated her life to serving the poorest of the poor because she understood their suffering on a personal level. Mahatma Gandhi, though raised in modest means, fought for the rights of the oppressed because he knew their struggles firsthand. A poor person does not measure kindness in terms of money. They measure it in action. They may not have much to give, but they give anyway. Whether it is a warm meal shared with a hungry stranger, a word of encouragement to someone feeling lost, or a helping hand to a friend in need. Their generosity comes not from excess, but from understanding. They know that a small act of kindness can mean everything to someone who has nothing. In contrast, those who have never faced hardship sometimes struggle to truly grasp the pain of others. They may sympathize, but they often do not empathize. They may feel pity, but they do not feel the urgency to help. Without first-hand experience of suffering, it is easy to dismiss the struggles of the less fortunate, to assume that poverty is a choice rather than a circumstance, or to believe that success is simply a matter of effort. But a poor person knows better. They have seen how life can be unfair, how circumstances beyond one's control can push people into suffering, and how difficult it is to escape one's trap. This deep understanding of pain does not just make a person kind, it makes them wise. It allows them to see beyond surface-level judgments, to recognize the hidden battles others are fighting, and to respond with genuine care instead of empty words. It is why some of the most generous people in the world are not the richest, but those who have struggled the most. They give not because they have to, but because they know exactly what it feels like to need help and have no one to turn to. A poor person may not have material wealth, but they often possess something far more valuable, a heart rich in compassion. And in a world that is often cold and indifferent, that kind of wealth is priceless. When a person grows up in poverty, hard work is not a choice, it is a necessity. Unlike those who inherit wealth or are born into privilege, a poor person knows that their survival depends entirely on their effort. From an early age, they learn that nothing will be handed to them, and if they want a better life, they must work harder than everyone else. This reality shapes them into individuals who are relentless, disciplined, and unshaken by challenge. Resilience is built through struggle. A poor person faces countless obstacles in life: lack of resources, limited opportunities, and constant rejection. Yet, instead of breaking under pressure, they learn to endure. They wake up early, go to bed late, and push through exhaustion because they know that quitting is not an option. When they fail, they do not dwell on their losses. They get up and try again. Every hardship they face strengthens their willpower, making them tougher and more prepared for the future. Many of the world's most successful individuals have one thing in common. They came from humble beginnings and worked tirelessly to change their circumstances. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was once homeless and struggled to afford food, but through years of dedication and hard work, he became one of the highest paid actors in the world. J.K. Rowling, before writing Harry Potter, was a single mother living in poverty, rejected by multiple publishers. Yet she never gave up. Her resilience led her to become one of the most successful authors in history. These individuals did not reach success because of luck. They reached it because of their unbreakable work ethic and perseverance. A poor person does not expect life to be easy. They know that to survive, they must outwork everyone else. Whether it is the street vendor who wakes up before dawn to sell goods, the laborer who works in the scorching sun to provide for his family, or the student who studies by candlelight because they cannot afford electricity, each of them embodies the spirit of resilience. Their struggles make them stronger, their challenges make them wiser, and their failures make them even more determined. Unlike those who are born into privilege, poor individuals do not fear hardship. They have lived with it their entire lives. While others complain about minor inconveniences, they keep pushing forward, unshaken by difficulties. They are accustomed to sacrifice, whether it means skipping meals to save money, walking miles to work because they cannot afford transportation, or working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. These experiences develop a level of endurance that few can match. Hard work is not just a temporary effort for them, it becomes a lifelong habit. Even when they achieve success, they do not grow complacent because they know how easily it can be lost. Many self-made millionaires continue working as if they are still struggling because the discipline they built in their early years never fades. They do not take success for granted because they remember what it was like to have nothing. While privilege often breeds complacency, struggle breeds strength. A person who has never faced hardship may crumble when life becomes difficult. They may give up at the first sign of failure because they have never been forced to push beyond their limits. But a person who has grown up in struggle knows that pain is temporary and effort is everything. They know that success is not given, it is earned through relentless perseverance. A poor person may start with nothing, but they develop a mindset that makes them unstoppable. Their hard work and resilience become second nature, and that alone is enough to set them apart from the rest of the world. When a person has everything they need, they rarely have to think outside the box. But when resources are scarce and opportunities are limited, creativity and resourcefulness become a way of life. A poor person does not have the luxury of convenience. They must find ways to make the most of what little they have. This forces them to develop a mindset that sees solutions where others see obstacles, possibilities where others see dead ends, and opportunities where others see nothing. Resourcefulness is the ability to adapt, innovate, and maximize the value of every tool, skill, and opportunity available. A person who has grown up with little learns to stretch every dollar, repurpose old items, and make things work with whatever is at hand. While some might throw things away when they are slightly broken, a poor person will find a way to fix, reuse, or repurpose them. This ability to create value from almost nothing is a skill that extends far beyond material things. It applies to business, problem solving, and even personal growth. History is filled with self-made individuals who succeeded not because they had the best resources, but because they had the ability to use what they had in the most effective way. Many of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, inventors, and leaders started with nothing but an idea and the determination to make it work. For example, Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, had very little formal education, yet his creativity and resourcefulness led him to create inventions that changed the world. Similarly, Elon Musk, who once struggled to afford rent, used his innovative thinking to build companies like Tesla and SpaceX, revolutionizing industries with ideas that others deemed impossible. For someone who has experienced poverty, problem solving becomes second nature. They know how to make money stretch, how to negotiate, and how to find new ways to survive and succeed. They are experts at making the best of a bad situation. If jobs are scarce, they create their own. If education is expensive, they find free ways to learn. If they lack connections, they network in unconventional ways. Their survival depends on their ability to think creatively and take action. Creativity is often born out of necessity. When a poor child cannot afford toys, they make their own from scraps. When a struggling family cannot afford expensive meals, they learn to cook delicious food with simple ingredients. When someone cannot afford a formal education, they teach themselves through books, the internet, or by observing others. These small everyday acts of resourcefulness shape a mindset that is highly adaptable and innovative. The greatest businesses and industries have been built by people who knew how to make something out of nothing. Street vendors who started with a small cart and grew into successful restaurant owners, artisans who turned handmade crafts into booming businesses, and self-taught coders who built tech empires. All of them used resourcefulness to overcome their lack of initial opportunities. This is proof that success is not about what you start with. It is about what you do with what you have. Many people who grow up in privilege never develop this kind of thinking because they never have to. They always have access to resources. So they never learn how to be creative under pressure. They rely on money to solve problems rather than their own ingenuity. But the world does not always reward those with the most resources. It rewards those who can create, innovate, and adapt to new challenges. A poor person who learns to be resourceful will never remain poor forever. Their ability to solve problems, create value, and make the most of any opportunity ensures that they will rise above their circumstances. While others wait for the perfect conditions to succeed, they create success with whatever is available to them. And that is why, in the long run, the resourceful mind always wins. There is a unique power in success that is built from the ground up. When a person has to fight for everything they achieve, their victories carry a deeper meaning. A poor person who rises from struggle does not just gain financial success. They gain strength, wisdom, and resilience that no amount of privilege can provide. Their success is not handed to them, it is earned step by step, through years of hard work, sacrifice, and perseverance. Unlike those born into wealth, a person who comes from poverty understands the true value of success because they know what it means to live without it. They have seen both sides of life, the pain of struggle and the reward of overcoming it. This experience makes them appreciate every milestone, every achievement, and every bit of progress in a way that those who inherit success never can. When you have had to fight for every opportunity, you do not take a single one for granted. One of the greatest strengths of self-made individuals is their deep sense of gratitude. They remember what it was like to struggle, to be ignored, to be underestimated. This memory fuels their drive to keep pushing forward, to keep achieving, and to never grow complacent. While those who inherit wealth may lose it within a generation due to a lack of discipline and understanding, those who have built their success from nothing hold on to it because they understand the struggle it took to get there. Struggles teach lessons that no classroom or textbook ever could. A person who has experienced financial hardship learns the importance of saving, budgeting, and investing wisely. A person who has fought for every job opportunity learns the value of persistence, networking, and self-improvement. A person who has faced rejection and failure learns the necessity of resilience and adaptability. These lessons shape a character that is not only capable of achieving success, but also sustaining it over the long term. Consider the stories of some of the most successful individuals in history. Oprah Winfrey, who was born into extreme poverty and faced countless hardships before becoming a media mogul. Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, who grew up in public housing but used his vision and work ethic to build one of the most successful coffee chains in the world. Or even Henry Ford, who came from a farming family and had no formal education but revolutionized the automobile industry through relentless determination. Their success was not an accident. It was the result of years of struggle, learning, and unbreakable persistence. The beauty of success that comes from struggle is that it creates leaders who inspire others. A person who has walked the difficult path understands what it takes to guide others along it. They do not just succeed for themselves, they lift others up along the way. Many self-made individuals become mentors, philanthropists, and community leaders because they remember what it was like to have no support. Their journey is not just about personal achievement, it is about breaking cycles of poverty and opening doors for others. In contrast, those who inherit their success often do not develop the same level of strength and wisdom. They may live in comfort, but they lack the battle scars that come from real struggle. When they face hardships, they are more likely to give up because they have never had to fight for survival. Their success is fragile, easily lost because it was never truly earned. But a person who has built everything with their own hands through sweat and perseverance carries a success that is unshakable. A poor person who rises above their struggles does not just change their own life, they change the lives of future generations. They become living proof that circumstances do not define destiny. They show the world that true success is not about where you start, but about how far you are willing to go. Their journey is not just a personal victory, it is a testament to the power of resilience, determination, and the human spirit. Never underestimate a poor person, for their struggles have given them something far more valuable than wealth: strength, resilience, and an unstoppable will to rise. A person who has fought through hardship does not fear obstacles, nor do they break under pressure. Their hunger for success is greater, their patience is deeper, and their wisdom is earned through real life experience. Many of the world's greatest minds, leaders, and innovators once had nothing, yet they built empires, changed industries, and left a mark on history. Why? Because struggle breeds greatness. Hardship forces people to become resourceful, to develop discipline, and to find creative ways to overcome challenges. The fire of adversity forges a person who is unshakable, someone who refuses to accept defeat. We must remember that wealth does not define a person, character does. A poor man with vision, effort, and resilience is far richer than a wealthy man without purpose. Circumstances may limit a person temporarily, but a strong mind, an unbreakable spirit, and relentless ambition can break any barrier. Never look down on someone because of where they are today, because tomorrow they might be standing far ahead of you.